Welcome back, everybody, to the Westlake Hornets Teambuilder Dynasty here in NCAA Football 14. As today, we have hit the PAC-12 championship, and the number 3 ranked Westlake Hornets are set to take on the number 5 ranked Air Force Falcons. Air Force just moved into the Pac-12 a couple years ago, and clearly, they've done quite fine adjusting. Air Force's lone loss this season comes against Navy, a team that Westlake did beat earlier in the year. However, Westlake's lone loss comes against Utah, a team that Air Force beat. So, in those terms, they're even. Since Air Force does not have a conference loss and Westlake does, the Falcons get to host this game. You'd think a military school like Air Force would have a dominant rushing attack, but it's the opposite. Their pass offense is great, so it's going to be challenging for Westlake. Looking at the rest of college football, you got to watch out for the SEC championship. Number 1 Auburn, number 2 Tennessee. Winner of that game will for sure make the national championship. But the big one is the Big 12 championship. You got number 4 Baylor and number 6 Texas. So the committee is going to have to choose between the winner of this game and the winner of that game to determine who's the number 2 team and ends up making the championship. So there is a ton at stake tonight. Westlake, Air Force. Let's get this battle started. Westlake ended their regular season on a high note, dominating the, at the time, number 5 ranked BYU Cougars 31-6. Let's see if they can carry that momentum here into the Pac-12 championship. Stephen Westwood on first down. Going to get it to the junior, Ulri Ayaluko, who gets 19. I will be updating you regularly on what's going on in the bottom screen with the SEC championship and certainly with the Big 12 championship, as it's going to be an option on first down, and it's a fumble. I don't know what Stephen Westwood was doing. He was about to get smothered, so he said, shoot, rather than getting hit, we're going to toss it over to Jason Gibbs, who has a defender right there. The option doesn't work, and Air Force gets the ball. Here's the Air Force offense, led by star senior quarterback Andy Andrews. This is a pass-first offense, but so far they have been running it a lot on this drive. 3rd and 4, Andrews going to look to throw it. Under pressure, and he's smothered by Delvin Hines and another defender, so that'll lead to a field goal, most likely. Well, I got some big news to share. Tennessee has smothered Auburn in the SEC championship 38-6, so Tennessee will for sure be in the national championship. And the Big 12 championship is not between Texas and Baylor. It's between number 4 Baylor and unranked Oklahoma. So Texas doesn't really have a chance to prove themselves, so it'll probably be Baylor, assuming they win, or the winner of this game playing Tennessee in the national championship. Knowing the Vols, I mean, they'll choke whoever they play against. Also, Conference USA Championship, UTSA beats FIU. That game does not really affect our Hornets, but good for the Roadrunner. Tennessee's head coach is former Westlake defensive coordinator Sisteek Youngblood. So if the Hornets do win this game, which is a huge if, that would be a pretty fun national championship game. Here's Westwood on second down. Gonna take a shot deep for Ulri Ayaluko. That's a gain of 37 and a Hornet first down. I've got to assume the winner of this game does make the national championship. I mean, Baylor kind of gets screwed because rather than playing a really tough team in Texas, they play a lesser team in Oklahoma who's still good, but not as good. And it looks like Baylor is having no problem with them, currently up 13-0 now. We're about halfway through the first quarter. Out route for Noah Newton for a gain of 11. The team Westlake beat in the national championship last year, Army, is currently ranked number 7. They are losing to Pittsburgh 10-0 in the ACC championship. Here's Westwood looking for Noah Newton, the Canada native. That's a touchdown. And Westlake will take the lead. Air Force's passing offense is one of the best in college football, and they barely threw it on their previous drive. They are going to pass it here on first down. No, they won't. Andy Andrews is going to be sacked by the senior Marcus Shelton. Shelton is absolutely going to be one of this team's biggest losses, with him graduating and likely being an NFL draft pick in the spring. Westlake's senior class this year is a little bit weaker than their senior classes of years past, but they do have some very impactful players leaving, including Marcus Shelton, who might be the best of that group. 3rd and long, Mackey is wide open down the field. Nobody wanted to cover him, That's a 45-yard gain for Morris Mackey. Westlake's pass defense has been very inconsistent this year for reasons like that. Can't let that happen in the most important game of the season. Here's Andrews now over to Meade, and it seems like this Air Force offense is starting to click a little bit. The Falcons are now in the red zone. Let's see if they can score some points, take the lead, and they will do just that. Eric Dixon will easily run it into the end zone untouched like weekend homework. And the Air Force Falcons will regain the lead late in quarter number 1. Both offenses are now starting to look good after slow starts, but this is going to be a very high-scoring game, and these offenses are going to need to continue to play well. Third down, Westwood fumbles the ball. It's a strip sack, recovered by Jackson, and Air Force will exit the first quarter with a touchdown, and the Falcons now lead by 10. That's Marquez Jackson, who recovers it and scores. I couldn't quite catch who that was on the sack, but Air Force will now be up by 10 as we exit the first frame. Westlake has now fumbled it twice today. Both fumbles have resulted in points for Air Force, and if you're Westlake, you just can't turn over the ball like that. Here's Westwood. He's been efficient in the passing game today. He's fumbled it twice, but he's thrown the ball fairly well as he gets it to the senior slot receiver Frank Bray for a gain of 21. Business is booming right now for this Westlake offense. About 4 minutes left to go here in the first half, as it's going to be a fake handoff for Tim Beck, and Westwood will walk it in on the read option. First off, Stephen Westwood has 6 carries for 9 yards. Nice. And second of all, it is now a one-score game once again. Nice. Westlake's previous possession also happened to be 69 yards. Nice. Air Force has it now, 2nd and 10. Andy Andrews, it is he throws, he gets it to Dixon. Pino trips on the grass, and Dixon with a big gain of 27. A stop here for this Westlake defense on 3rd and 10 would be absolutely huge. Let's see if they can get it. Tight end in motion. Mackey will move to the left side of the line. Andrews, he will be incomplete. 4th and 10. Do they kick the field goal? Do they go for it? Do they punt? What do they do here? 4th and 10 at around the 36. They could attempt the 53-yard kick, but nah, Sway, they going for it. Andrews under pressure, and he just has to get rid of it. Can't really blame him, as instead of the sack, it's just an incomplete pass, and the Hornets have 2 minutes and 42 seconds to take the lead before halftime. Baylor is currently beating Oklahoma 28-7 in the first half. That ain't Big 12 football, I don't know what is, as it looks like the Bears have that game pretty much locked at this point. So Westlake needs to put on a showing here in this game if they want to make the championship. There's Aurier Luca with a tough grab. Could have been picked off by number 27. Westwood is still perfect in completion-wise. He is currently 8 for 8. Other than the fumbles, which have obviously been pretty costly, Stephen Westwood has been very good in this game. Westwood now going to go deep for his younger brother. The Westwood connection. Stephen Westwood finds the true freshman Carter Westwood for the score, and Westlake will take the lead here late in the first half. Air Force does open the second half off on offense, but they could use some momentum exiting the first half, whether that's way of the field goal or a touchdown. Andy Andrews is going to decide to run with it. We know he can sling it, but he also has some wheels, getting 12. Slow and steady goes the Air Force offense on this possession. Air Force's offense hasn't been super flashy today, but they've moved the ball down the field steadily and nicely. 3rd and 1, just under a minute to go in the half. It's going to be a read option, and the defender, Ray Johnson's going to fall for it. Andrews with another nice run, and the Falcons are in the red zone. Air Force is moving very close to the end zone. Let's see if they can punch it in and try to take the lead late in the half. Andrews going to scramble. He runs right into Delvin Hines. That's not a good idea, but it doesn't really matter as he spins his way into the end zone, and Air Force will take the lead with 34 seconds to go until halftime. You know how long that last drive for Air Force was? 69 yards. That is quite impressive that the past 2 scoring drives have been 69 yards. Westlake has 34 seconds to try to tie it or take the lead before halftime. And this drive's going to start off hot. Carter Westwood gets pounded, but he does get 31. Hornets will call their first timeout. I think it's safe to say the Hornets are in field goal range, but you never know with Volker Gantz sometimes. Here's Stephen Westwood, has scrambling room. He's going to try to run with it, and he fumbles it, but out of bounds with 6 seconds to play. The Hornets will send the field goal unit out. Here's Volker Gantz to tie the game at 24. Air Force is expecting a fake here, which I find interesting. It's not a fake, but Gantz misses the kick. It is wide right. Volker Gantz just cannot kick from the hashes to save his life, and Air Force will keep the lead. 3rd and 8 here for the Falcons as we open up the second half, 24-21, your score. Very entertaining game of football so far, as they're going to run it up the middle. I don't get that call. Eric Dixon only gets 2. That'll be a 3 and out. We just got some pretty big news from the Air Force medical team as tight end Morris Mackey suffered a concussion late in the first half, and he will not return to action today. That's a pretty big loss for their offense. 2nd and 1. Here's Stephen Westwood scrambling. Westwood has not thrown an incompletion yet today. That will stand as he runs for a gain of 26. He does not slide or go out of bounds, instead opting to take the hit, but still a nice run. Westlake's offense is looking good so far on this drive. They are currently 2 for 2 in the red zone with 2 touchdowns, and they are back in the red zone as Jason Gibbs with the run. Gibbs trucks a defender, getting 13, putting the Hornets inside the 10. Stephen Westwood threw an incompletion on first down. That's his first incompletion in the game, by the way. But he got hit late, and he got a boo-boo. Could be bad news. Here's Tim Beck. He's going to run for the touchdown. Not the name you see every day in the backfield. Usually it's John Cummings and Jason Gibbs making the plays. But it's Tim Beck who gives Westlake the lead, but the bigger story could be a Stephen Westwood injury. Stephen Westwood got the wind knocked out of him. Now, from personal experience, I've had the wind knocked out myself, and it takes about 2 minutes of recovery. It'll take about 2 minutes for Stephen. He will return to this game, which is huge. And speaking of huge plays, Andy Andrews with a 26-yard run before being tracked down by the ultra-athletic defensive end, Delvin Hines. Stephen Westwood actually looked like he was in a ton of pain once he got hit, too, which is strange because from my personal experience of getting the wind knocked out, I wouldn't say it was painful. 3rd and 5, Andrews is incomplete, throwing it away. I would expect them to probably go for it again here on 4th and 5. Nope, they're going to punt it. I would have gone for it here personally, but I guess... Oh, they are going to fake the punt. Hello. Okay. You know, I would have just gone for it. I trust Andy Anderson a lot more than I do their punter, Wayne Anderson. Gutsy call, or I feel like more so stupid call, does not work. Air Force deciding to fake the punt might be costly, especially considering Stephen Westwood is back in the game. Westwood has played a phenomenal football game up to this point. Here's Stevie. On 2nd down, he will get it to Curtis Vincent, and he fumbles it, and it's recovered by Curry, and Air Force gets it back just like that. These Hornet players today literally have butterfingers for hands. Westwood has fumbled it twice. Curtis Vincent has fumbled it. On defense, I haven't shown the dropped interceptions, but Marcus Brick Hands Lee has dropped 2 easy picks today. The Hornets should be up by 20 right now. Westlake has far outplayed Air Force today. The problem is the Hornets have not executed on big opportunities, whereas Air Force has. Air Force didn't capitalize on this drive. 3 and out. Andrews throws it away immediately, so that'll force a punt. Westlake just needs to be protective of the football, and they'll win this game. It's that simple. If they don't turn it over, they'll drive down the field and score just fine. Here's Jason Gibbs. First play of the drive. Has a few blocks. That's how you open up a possession. He gets 17. Gibbs has really played well today, and I would say the past couple of weeks, he has certainly outplayed John Cummings, who farly was better than Gibbs at the beginning of the season. I will say, Stephen Westwood's decision-making does look a little bit worse since he had the wind knocked out of him. His only good throw was the Curtis Vincent fumble. 2nd and 10, Westwood Scrambling. He's going to go deep. And he will connect. That's an awfully good throw. Over to Frank Bray, who gets 33. Stephen Westwood got the wind knocked out of him again. I didn't even see him get hit this time. But he has gotten the wind knocked out of him again. He'll be fine to return, though. But for now, you're going to get a play of Rodney Allen. And, yeah, I thought Rodney Allen was pretty good. I guess not. Oh, dear. You got the field goal unit on. Volker Gantz has already missed from the left side today. This time, he does not miss. Gantz connects on the 46-yard kick. Westlake is now up by 7 with 1:06 to play in the third. Baylor is now beating Oklahoma 38-7 in the Big 12 championship. That game ended pretty much before it started. 3rd and 1. Air Force does not convert. Delvin Hines reads the read option like a book. And the third quarter will end off strong for Westlake. They now lead it 31-24 and will get the ball unless Air Force is going to do some funny business. Air Force will go for it. I think this is a good call at this point in the game. Got to start taking some risks, and it's not a fake punt, so I guess that's smart. As they're going to give it to the big fella Hamilton, who's just going to break a few tackles, truck the defenders, and get 8. You got to give credit to the Air Force Falcons. They continue to fight. This is a really good football team Westlake is playing against today. They don't just happen to be ranked number 5. It's for a reason. Here's Andy Andrews of a nice run, now to about the 10, and the Falcons are very close to tying this game up. 3rd down and 5 at the 5. Pretty much 3rd and goal at the 5. This might honestly be the most important play of the game up to this point. Andrews going to look to throw it. He connects with Eric Dixon for the touchdown, and we are now tied up at 31 apiece with just over 5 minutes to go, and Andrews breaks... wouldn't he have already broken the record? Oh well. 31-31 with about 5 minutes to go. Can Westlake drive down the field and take the lead? Going to start off a run for John Cummings. He breaks a tackle. Cummings still alive, stumbling. Probably would have gotten more had he not stumbled, but that's still a big play from John Cummings, getting about 19. 3rd down and 2. A stop here for the Air Force defense would be massive. Can they get it? Westwood going to trust his legs, and he is right to do so. Stephen Westwood down the field, tackled inside the 20 for a massive run of 33 yards. Stephen Westwood's ability to make plays with his legs really changes the complexity of this offense. Usually, Westlake has a traditional pocket passer or quarterback, but Westwood's dual threat abilities really create many new opportunities for the offense. Stephen, however, on 2nd and 6 is going to be sacked for a loss of 8 by Cornelius Ransom. First off, that's a sick name. Second off, that's a gigantic play for Air Force. Now it's 3rd and 14. 3rd and long. What does Stephen Westwood have up his sleeve? Let's see. Westwood under pressure. Nice block from one of the linemen. Gonna go for the end zone, and it's picked by Jackson. And another turnover for Westlake, and Air Force has a chance to drive down the field and end it. Wow. If Air Force scores here, they probably will end up winning the game. 2nd and 10. About 1:10 to go in the game, all tied at 31. Andrews under pressure. What a huge sack by Delvin Hines, and now it's 3rd and long. Delvin Hines with the play of this season. Now Westlake needs one more stop. They have all their backup defensive linemen, and I find that funny. It's going to be a screen. I don't get this call at all for Hamilton, and he almost got it. Marcus Jones with the shoestring tackle, and Westlake calls another timeout. This is a very situation to where Westlake was in last year in the Pac-12 championship against Stanford. Under a minute to go. Stanford was actually winning by a couple points. Limited timeouts. Westlake has a chance to be in this exact same situation again. They capitalized then, and they might capitalize now. Ori Yaluko opens up the possession with a gain of 48. What a play from the offense. Beautiful throw from Westwood. Yaluko with a massive catch. Can Westlake fully trust Volker Gantz to make a game-winning kick? My answer is no. Still time. Westwood over to Reggie Herman. Herman gets it inside the 15. Westlake just has to be smart. They have 16 seconds. They still have a timeout, by the way. No fumbles, no picks. All you got to do is not be stupid, and you'll win the game. Stephen Westwood on second down. He will get sacked. Hornets call time, and I assume we'll see the field goal unit. This is a 23-yard field goal attempt for Volker Gantz. It should be no problem if he makes it. Westlake is pretty much in the championship. The kick is up, and he drills it right down Main Street, and the Hornets are now up by 3 with 8 seconds to play. Volker Gantz, when the lights shine the brightest, he capitalizes. Well, this is it. Air Force is going to need a shot to the heavens. It is 2nd and 18 after a sack by Delvin Hines, who's been great today, as Andrews heaves it deep, and it is incomplete. Deflected by Anthony Mitchell. That's how this game ends, and the Westlake Hornets are Pac-12 champions once again in dramatic fashion. They win this game by a score of 34-31. This was an exciting game from start to finish. There were moments where Westlake could have closed it out. There were moments where it looked like Westlake was going to lose. But the Hornets prevail, and now they should make the national championship. We got to see if Baylor jumps them. Baylor did just dominate the Oklahoma Sooners. Westlake has beaten 2 top 5 teams in their previous wins, including a blowout of BYU, but we'll see what the committee has to say. You know, I could wait until next episode to reveal if we make it. I could make it into a separate video. But you know what? We're going to show it right now. Does Westlake make the national championship, or do they get snubbed? So let's take a quick look at the situation. I've mentioned it earlier, but just to refresh, you got Auburn and Tennessee at 1 and 2. We know Tennessee beat Auburn. I can't see Auburn being ranked higher than Westlake, so we'll knock them out of the equation. Tennessee will become number 1, and then number 2 will be either Westlake, Baylor, or the wild card Texas. I assume it'll be Westlake or Baylor. Texas did not get to play in a conference championship. These 2 teams did. Baylor won pretty easily against a decent Oklahoma team. Westlake, obviously, a very close game against a very good Air Force squad. So, who does the committee like more, Westlake or Baylor? The Hornets are currently ranked higher. If I were to guess, I would predict that they are going to choose Westlake, but who knows? We have seen crazier things in the past. Alright guys, I've got to admit I'm kind of nervous. Last year there weren't really any nerves because we were 13-0, we were the number 1 team in the country, and it was fairly obvious that we would make the championship. This year, there's a legit shot that Baylor passes us. I think we'll get in, but it's almost a 50-50 chance on who the committee would rather have play Tennessee, us or Baylor. And it's a very valid question. Baylor is a great football team. They've won, I think, multiple national championships in this dynasty. I could be wrong about that. So Brandon Ellis, first off, wins the Heisman, the running back from Navy, in a very close vote. The second place finisher is the running back from Baylor, who is 2 points shy. That's got to be so sad. We did play Brandon Ellis earlier in the season, and we contained him quite well. He wasn't dominant. He was solid, but he wasn't crazy. Remember when John Cummings was in first place for this? Remember when Stephen Westwood, after one half of football, was in the Heisman running? Good times. So we got a few awards. Lewis Kahn wins for Bednarik. Delvin Hines wins for Nagurski. Delvin Hines wins for Lombardi. Lewis Kahn wins for Best Linebacker of the Year, a.k.a. the Owen Jackson Award. Marcus Jones wins the Jim Thorpe Award. And now the moment of truth. Westlake, I'm nervous, is in the Natty! Westlake versus Tennessee. They choose the Hornets. So there you go, folks. Next episode will not be the championship against Tennessee. It will be going over the Utah High School State Playoffs. And then, the Natty. Westlake's second straight appearance in the big game. Can they go back-to-back? Or will the Tennessee Volunteers do an un-Tennessee-like thing and win a big football game? Only time will tell. I'm excited as you guys are. Have a good one. Peace out.